Good morning, my YouTube viewers. It is Palestine here. I'm here this morning because yesterday I found out about two separate instances of a recurrence of breast cancer in two people, and I wanted to discuss that. And the reason why I just wanted to discuss that is because whenever I did research on Google about the recurrence of breast cancer, what I found was that breast cancer recurs 20 to 30% of the time. And so now, yesterday, in one day, I found out about two recurrences, which is what I wanted to discuss. The first recurrence I found out from my boyfriend's mother because her stepdaughter's daughter had breast cancer several years ago, and she had to go through the treatment of getting breast cancer. I know she had surgery. I don't know what other treatment she had. I don't know if she had chemotherapy or radiotherapy, or if she had to take tamoxifen or anastrozole. I don't know that, but I do know she had breast cancer. And the reason why is because my boyfriend's mother is a gossip, so she can't keep anything to herself. And number two, she's not very highly educated, so she doesn't actually go to the doctor to find out what treatment a person gets. So all I know is that the lady had breast cancer. Well, yesterday when I was speaking to my boyfriend's mother, she said that her daughter has breast cancer again. So I said to her, I said, well, she had breast cancer several years ago. And she said, yes, well, she's going through it all over again. So that tells me that the breast cancer has recurred. So she has a recurrence of breast cancer. And she said she was going to have an operation. So I think this might be a lumpectomy or something. And I don't know what other treatment she's going to get, whether it's going to be tamoxifen or whether it's going to be aromatase inhibitor, such as anastrozole. And I don't know if she's going to have radiotherapy or chemotherapy. But that is one instance where my boyfriend's mother's stepdaughter's daughter had breast cancer and it has recurred. Now, the second recurrence of breast cancer occurred is somebody that I know in the town I live in. And I know about this because I saw her at the breast clinic when I was at the breast clinic. But I didn't want to ask too many questions. But she volunteers at a food handout that I go to. And so I knew that she had something to do with the breast clinic, but I wasn't sure. But I think when I saw her, I asked her if she had to have an operation or something. I asked her something about her appointment, and she said yes. She said that she had to have an operation, and it went just fine. It wasn't painful at all. So I let it go, and I thought, well, she's quite happy for somebody who's got breast cancer, and but I just thought, well, maybe her operation wasn't as hard as my operation, because when I had my first lumpectomy, they cut me in two places. They did the lumpectomy, but they also took out 4 lymph nodes. So I've actually got 2 scars. And then so I saw her yesterday because we left Poole and we came back to the town I live in on the train. And then we had time, so I had made sandwiches in the morning, so we had a sandwich for lunch, and then we went to the food handout to get some food. And a part of it is social as well, because we can't afford to go places where you have to spend money. So a part of it is social, because when you go to the handouts, you get to know the people. So you get the food, and sometimes you get close, and you get to know the people at the handouts. So this one lady who's volunteering, we were leaving, and she ran after me, and she said, well, how did it go? And I explained to her that it went okay, that I had a second operation. And I explained to her that I was on aromatase inhibitors and estrozola. And I told her that I was going to have radiotherapy. And I asked her, did she have to do any of that? And she said yes, that she had done it years ago. So she had breast cancer years ago. And so she had operation and she had to take an aromatase inhibitor. And she said she had to take radiotherapy. I don't know if she took chemotherapy or not. She didn't tell me. But she said that this time all they did was a lumpectomy, and I think they weren't going to do any radiotherapy. And I think the reason for that is because you can only get radiotherapy in a location once. That's what I think. But because I'm not medically qualified, I can't confirm that, but that's what I think. And she was really happy, and I explained to her that I was on an aromatase inhibitor, and I explained to her why I was on an aromatase inhibitor. And she said, oh, well, you explained that quite well. So, you know, obviously, the UK government tells me I'm mentally ill, but I still, even though they tell me I'm mentally ill, I'm still able to explain my treatment. And another thing, that obviously whenever I go to the doctor, they have access to my medical records, so they know what my diagnosis is. So they always say to me, do you understand what we're doing? And I said, yes. They said, okay, well, explain to me what we're doing. And then I have to explain to them what they're doing to me, because obviously they have access to my medical records, so they know my diagnosis, and so they want to make sure that I know what it is they're doing. So that's it for what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about these two instances of a recurrence of breast cancer that I heard of yesterday. And the lady that volunteers at this food handout, she seemed to be quite happy. And I told her, I said, well, you're quite good mood. You're quite happy for someone who's got breast cancer. But she's a Christian, so I guess maybe she thinks that she's just going to let God handle it all. I'm not sure exactly. But she seems to be really lighthearted, in a good mood for someone who had a recurrence of breast cancer. So that's it for this video. I just wanted to talk about these two recurrences of breast cancer that I found out about yesterday, because I think it's really important to discuss it. And the reason why is because what I read on Google was that breast cancer returns 20 to 30% of the time. So the statistics are not very good. I mean, if you get breast cancer, you have a good life expectancy. It's a really high survival rate for 5 years, and it's a really high survival rate for 10 years. But you can always get a recurrence, which is what happened to these two ladies. So I'm going to go ahead and close my video. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I will be making another video for you very soon to read you the letter that I got from the oncologist.